Every time I opened my LinkedIn, I saw a lot of posts of people that are looking for a job and have been looking for one for the last few months, 6, 7, almost 1 year, and they can't find a job. They have interviewed for tens of companies. They had 50, 20 interviews and they can never land a job. And I think that this is because people nowadays have this idea of dreaming of this perfect job that they want to have, and at the same time are lacking a lot of flexibilities in moving or stepping outside of their box in terms of their day-to-day responsibilities that they want to do in a specific job. Hi, my name is Cornelia. I work as a recruiter and I've been working as one for the last 4 years and a few months. I usually post videos about corporate environment, how to find a job, what to say, not say in job interviews and so on. And today's video is a little bit controversial, or the subject is controversial, let's say, because I wanted to talk about this idea that every person deserves the perfect job for them, which is a lie and it's a scam in general. The perfect job doesn't exist. And looking for it might be the one that will prevent you of accepting different job offers or demanding different things during the interviews that the company can take notice of and reject you based on those demands that you might have. First of all, I wanted to talk about dream jobs and the fact that everyone wants to have these 6 to 8 professions that are deemed as being perfect jobs, like being a doctor, a lawyer, a software developer, all of these professions that sound sexy and that are very glamorized in movies and social media in general. It's very funny because all of these jobs are not really that great when you are actually starting to work in them. This idea came from this lady. I'll put the video here. She talked about her dream of becoming a doctor and about the fact that she had all of these negative informations about this profession prior to going to university and studying, and she brushed them off. And then when she was actually working as a doctor, she saw that she has to work for long hours, the amount of stress is so big, and she needs to be a good performer at all time, and the wage is so small for that specific level of stress and responsibilities that she has as a doctor. And this is something that is in all of these glamorized professions. Let's think about becoming an entrepreneur, right? And having your own company. Do you know that 90% of the startups fail? And the thing is that when you start your own company, most likely you don't have your own funds. I mean, yeah, maybe you can have them if you come from a rich family and all of the money that you use as investments are from your parents. But if you actually start a company with the money of the investors, the amount of stress that a person has to keep their startup floating and keep it profitable somehow is enormous. And I bet this is something that not a lot of people want to deal with. And in my own case, in my first years of university, I was studying psychology. I wanted to become a therapist. And after I understood what becoming a therapist meant and the fact that you need around, 10 years to become a fully independent therapist and do all of the things by yourself, it was baffling. And I'm not going to tell you, it was frustrating because I have all of this glamorous idea from all of the shows that I've saw and movies, etc., to become a therapist and be successful at being a therapist. But yeah, after I knew what would be all of the sacrifices that I have to make to actually become one, it wasn't that appealing anymore. And of course, I oriented myself in other subdomains of psychology where I can actually work and make money early on and not after 10 years of doing a lot of courses, going to therapist schools, etc., etc. I'm not going to tell you to abandon the idea of becoming something that will be related to your dream job. But at the same time, I just wanted to explain the fact that there are a lot of other jobs out there that might be as fulfilling as your dream job might be, and at the same time won't make you have all of these sacrifices to become that specific professional. The second thing I wanted to talk about is the requirements that the candidates have for a specific job. And this is something that I saw a lot, especially working in recruitment and talking a lot with candidates. If a specific job doesn't align with the candidate's expectations 100%, they will reject that specific job. Or they will say specifically in an interview or in a discussion with the interviewers that they won't accept a job if they don't have a specific thing. And if the company doesn't have that, they will reject the candidate because they are afraid that the candidate will leave after they can see that their needs are not fulfilled in that specific job. This is something that I notice a lot with working remote. There are a lot of people that are rejecting good working opportunities just because they don't want to go to the office. And there are a lot of companies nowadays that are having this policy of coming back to the office and so on. So it's harder and harder to find a job that is 100% remote or that has 100% flexible working schedule. So yeah, people might need to be a little bit open on these parts and maybe accept a position that it's not perfect, but that met their expectations in, 80%, 90%. This happens at me as well. In my first job, I wanted to work in an HR department. And when I was first hired, I wasn't hired necessarily in one. It was something similar to it, but because I expressed my desire of becoming a recruiter and I showed my managers at that time that I can do all of these things and held all of these responsibilities, I was promoted very quickly in a recruitment type of position. So yeah, maybe that job wasn't the perfect one for me, but it was the one that helped me becoming and going into a position that was in fact something that I was looking for at that moment. The third thing is the lack of flexibility that a lot of professionals have in moving or getting into roles that are similar with the ones that I had before. And I know that it's frustrating that you need to change the career or you need to do things that are different from the ones that you've done for the last 10, 15 years, etc. But sometimes this is necessary. I saw a lot of people that are complaining on LinkedIn about the fact that AI stole their job, and at the same time they are still applying for roles that were similar, that AI stole. If a company uses AI to do a specific activity, most likely a lot of other companies are using AI to do the same activity, because guess what? Paying for an AI software is cheaper than paying for a person to do that specific thing. And I know it's awful to hear and to say this, but this is the company idea. The company wants to pay and have as small cost as they can. Of course, this means that there will be just a few other companies that will be open to hire a person to do that specific activity. This means that you'll have a lot of competition for those specific roles. And if you have a lot of people that are competing with you, you'll have less chances to get that specific job. You actually need to stay with yourself, be introspective, and understand what are the skills that you have that can help you go and do other jobs that are similar with the ones that you have. And in my case, I can say this about becoming a person that works in HR admin, because being a recruiter is something of a privilege, right? The existence of a recruiter in a specific company is when the company is evolving, is when they are profitable and they need more people, and that's why they need a recruiter to actually find people to grow their company. But if the company is not in a great financial place, most likely they won't like to hire other people or other employees. This means that they will fire their recruiter because there is no other need for them in the company. So if I can't find a position as a recruiter, I can find one as being an admin HR or a person that takes care of the employees. So I can actually become a person that is doing the onboarding, maybe the person that does the paychecks, does the payroll, etc., etc. Because even though I don't have that many experience doing all of these things, I have done it before and I'm open to doing it if I can find a role as a recruiter doing specifically or mainly recruiting. Maybe looking for a job or finding a job after a long period of time is something that it's not really depending on the number of companies that you are applying for. It's also depending on the things that you are able to accept and on the flexibility that you have as an employee to develop yourself maybe in other areas or to find jobs that are similar with the ones that you have or the ones that you already worked until now. The perfect job doesn't exist out there, and no job can actually fulfill 100% all of the conditions that you have. A lot of people don't have a sponsor, don't have a person that offers them money to pay their day-to-day check, and if you don't have any funds, I just think that it's a better decision to find a job that is good enough, because this is what will actually help you pay the rent and pay for all of the expenses that you have in a specific month. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!